Prototype was developed by Radical Entertainment and was released in 2009 to box office success and critical acclaim. I want to talk about Prototype today because I feel like it's been forgotten in recent years. So I replayed Prototype from start to finish, and I really like to dig deep with Prototype since it's one of the best games in the superpower genre. But before I do, I might as well do a small recap of the story. The story revolves around Alex Mercer, who wakes up in a morgue having absorbing and shape-shifting abilities. This game is also set in New York City as a virus infects people and the military attempts to put an end to it. I know that sounds oversimplified, but I'm trying to save the story for a later section of the video. But before I start this review, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, it helps the video a lot, and I took lots of time and put lots of time and effort into this video, so I really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's take a deep dive into Prototype.
My name is Alex Mercer. I'm the reason for all of this. They call me a killer, a monster, a terrorist. I'm all of these things.
Even though Prototype was released in 2009, it still looks great today. The cutscenes look great for its time and still look commendable for today's standards. You can tell the game is grounded apart from the whole zombie and infected thing. This game color palette is also very dark and muddy, and all the colors blend together. This game is also really detailed, as having spray paint on the walls, mold on the floor, and debris basically everywhere. The cars and the civilians make the world actually feel alive. At the start of the game, the city feels at least semi-normal, but at the later parts of the game, it honestly feels like a war zone. Zombies everywhere and also military everywhere. Everywhere you turn are destroyed buildings in your path, and you can really see the transition in the city throughout the game. The city is also really big in Prototype, so it's good that you have powers to travel fast. The powers you have to travel through this giant mayhem of a city are gliding, air dashing, and sprinting. Those are the main three things you can use to travel. And also, the city has great atmosphere. You always feel on edge because anyone could attack you at any moment. And the population is very great and vast. The music in Prototype is also really good, to say the least. It fits Prototype very well. I can't put the music in for copyright reasons, but trust me, it's good. The music feels lifeless, yet it feels claustrophobic. But it fits the game very well. And the city is also very large, especially for PS3 standards. The city is also very large in scale, so the traversal powers really do help you get around the city pretty quickly. It's very fun jumping from building to building, and jumping off the Empire State Building is also probably one of the coolest things you can do in the game. There are two main districts inside Prototype City: infected districts and military districts. Infected districts have infected citizens, monsters, and infected buildings, and military districts are kind of just like normal everyday buildings, but they have military everywhere in them. The districts are good in the game because you never feel safe. If you go inside one of the infected districts, the infected and the monsters are going to be hunting you down. And if you go to the military district, the military will be trying to kill you every time. So you always feel on edge, and I think that the districts really make the city feel like it's a mayhem. But now, let's talk about arguably the most important part of any game, the gameplay. And in this situation, the gameplay and the powers. The military is always after you. They're always sending the military or patrollers, tanks, helicopters, even strike teams to kill you. So it's very rewarding when you finish a mission knowing that you'll be safe from the military for at least a little bit. These missions are also really great. They're all different and unique. Like in one mission, you have to use a tank to get to Donna. In another mission, you have to get genetic material from this infected building. And another mission, you have to sneak through the military. These missions are different and unique, which is quite rare for a game like this, so I commend Radical Entertainment for doing this. The civilians in the game are also a big help because you get to eat them. Okay, that's not how I meant to phrase it, but when you eat civilians, you regenerate health, and you get to disguise as them, which is pretty useful when the military is after you. You also get a lot of powers in this game, and these powers are really good. I'm not going to lie, the first power you get are the claws. They're pretty good, and you can charge them up. It's a pretty good weapon until you get the blade, which is basically a better version of the claws. You also have the whip, which is good for taking out helicopters in large crowds, and you also get muscle mass, which is pretty good with upgrades, but nothing special. You also get defensive weapons in this game as well, like shields and a protective suit around you. These powers are also really good. Offensive or defensive, the weapons in this game are really good in general. The military is always on you, so it's cool when you team up with them to beat a big threat. But let's talk about the vehicle missions for a sec. They're kind of trash in my opinion. The missions with the tanks are okay, but it slowed down the game a bit for me. It was a great way to mix up gameplay and the mission objectives, but the helicopter missions suck in my opinion, since the helicopter takes too much damage too easily. Let's talk about the boss fights for a sec. I think they're pretty good. They're not really anything special, but I think they're good enough, and they are honestly pretty hard. The first boss fight is pretty good. It's pretty a beginner boss fight, but the later boss fights like Elizabeth Green was really hard and took like hours for me to finish it. But yeah, they're not special by any means. They're not really different, but they do the job, and it is pretty hard to beat all of them. The side quests, there's also side quests in the game after you complete the story, and all of them are pretty good. There's one where you have to consume random people to get the full story of how the virus, had an outbreak and stuff like that. That side quest was pretty cool, and the other side quests were good as well. But none of them were really outstanding to me. They were just pretty cool to do after the main campaign was done. But overall, to me, I think the gameplay was really good. All the powers were great, and that's what people come to Prototype for. Not the story, not the side quests, not even the boss fight, but for the gameplay. How you can basically be a god, The game wants to make you feel like a god and does that remarkably well. You can kill anyone, really. You can destroy basically anything, and it's great, The gameplay is great. But now, let's move on to the story.
I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. I need to know why. They made me this way, and I need to understand.
So let's talk about the story. The game follows the story of Alex Mercer, who wakes up in a morgue in the basement of Gentech, a large and influential genetic engineering company. Alex escapes and sets out to recover his memory and finds out exactly what happened to him. He soon discovers that he now possesses powerful shape-shifting abilities that grant him superhuman strength, speed, agility, durability, weaponry, and the ability to consume people. With no memory of his previous life, Alex is forced to track down and consume those related to the conspiracy in order to uncover the truth. During this quest, Alex faces two factions, or mainly one, Blackwatch, a force that wants Alex and who have contracted a strange virus and powerful monsters known as Hunters. And they also have Captain Cross, a Blackwatch officer, who is specifically given orders to find and contain Alex. Alex then makes contact with his sister, Dana, which assists him in tracking down targets who can shed light on his past, leading to the eventual infiltration of Gentech headquarters. Alex then finds a woman called Elizabeth Green, contained on level 51 of the building, who escapes and takes control of the infected. Alex soon meets Dr. Rangland, who is a doctor that is linked to the whole matter, who also helps Alex. As the conspiracy unfolds and with the assistance of an unidentified contact, the origins of the virus and Elizabeth Green are finally uncovered. In 1969, the government had tested the virus, and I'm pretty certain Hope Adiaho, I hope that's how you say it, I'm sorry if I said it wrong, was designed to target predetermined races. The virus then mutated into something far more deadly, and the whole Hope population was infected. Elizabeth Green was the only survivor, and alarmingly Woe's body accepted the virus, rewriting her genetic code along with that of her son Pariah. The remaining population of Hope Adiaho was then liquidized by Blackwatch. Green and Pariah were kept in captivity for further research with Gentech. Soon after that, Alex finally discovers his own past. Mercer and Cross at one of their meetings, with the help of an unknown contact, Alex finally pumps the new blood tox biological agent underground, in order to drive the hidden virus above ground where it can finally be fought directly, causing Elizabeth Green to emerge as a towering monstrosity whom Alex defeats and consumes with a pretty hard boss fight. It becomes apparent that General Randall, head of Blackwatch, is prepared to destroy Manhattan with a nuclear device. The contact revealed to be Captain Robert Cross, and Alex infiltrates the USS Ronald Reagan where it's been held. Once Alex consumes Randall, Cross reveals himself to be the Supreme Hunter, having survived their last fight and consumed the real Cross to assume his form. Mercer defeats it and moves the weapon out into the Atlantic Ocean, where it blows up safely but catches Alex in the crossfire. His remains flew back to the city, regenerating after consuming the crow. I know that was like kinda confusing story. I'm not really good at summarizing stories like that. But that's the story of Prototype, and I think that it holds up pretty well. I think nothing special at all. I don't think you'll come to Prototype just to play the story. It's more about the gameplay, but the story is good enough to keep you entertained at least, and it keeps you curious. Alex Mercer is Prototype. You could disagree, but I don't think Prototype works, or at least it doesn't work as well without Alex as the lead role. Alex works because he's mysterious, and he has lore, and also because Alex Mercer is just badass, something that Prototype 2 antagonist kinda lacks. Diana and the Doctor are also great characters, even though they're not in the game too often. So overall, the characters are good enough, and Alex is an interesting enough protagonist for the
They're
game.
headless. An infected army without a leader. It's only a matter of time before they're wiped out.
And is there other leaders out there?
No.
Overall, Prototype is a fun experience. Prototype is a very unique game because I cannot find a game like Prototype anywhere else. Even to this day, even though Prototype came out over a decade ago, I cannot find a game like Prototype like anywhere. It's a really unique game, but it does have a lot of problems, like repetitive missions, stuff that do not make any sense. But in general, I think the good outweighs the bad here. Prototype is a really fun game, but you know, it is a PS3 game. It has lots of problems, you know. But in general, Prototype is a great game, and it was a great foundation, a great idea. And it just sucks that we couldn't, you know, see more of the idea, because Prototype 2, the last time I played it, wasn't that good. And we never got Prototype 3. We might still get it, but I don't know for sure. But Prototype 1 was a great foundation for something greater, and it is a really good game to this day. What's up, guys? So I hope you guys liked my review on Prototype. I'm sorry this video took so long. I haven't posted in about 2 weeks by the time I'm recording this. This one took a while to make, but I hope it was worth it. I don't know what to say here, but yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching to the end. If you have, a like would be appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't, if you want more of these reviews. Leave in the comment section below if you want a Prototype 2 review. I might review it, but last time I played Prototype 2 was not that great. I don't remember it being that great, but I'll review if you guys want me to. That's my review on Prototype. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys